But if you tell that, oh, we managed to reduce cost per customer by, by 10%. Oh wow, that's completely different story for executive. One of the key ideas that we have is that we like what we want to actually achieve with these dashboards is to give customers a very quick start into connecting them into insights which they can get from the data. They took our dashboards, but they completely built like absolutely mind-blowing FinOps home-baked tool on top of this. You build it, you run it, but you're also responsible for
Yeah.
effectiveness, yeah, or for the costs of this. So it adds more responsibilities and accountabilities, but at the same time, without this, it would be hard to drive the change. So we started to build and experiment with visualizations and the dashboards in QuickSight, and we realized that it's actually possible not only build insightful stuff, but also to use QuickSight to share the templates with every single customer. So for FinOps community, also GenAI brings quite interesting challenges, not just how to use it for FinOps, but also how to track the cost of GenAI services, how to optimize them.
So, welcome everyone to a new episode of the FinOps Weekly podcast. Today, we are honored to have one of the masters of visualization in FinOps. We have Yuriy from AWS. How are you, Yuriy?
Hi, Victor. Damian. I'm great. Thank you for having me today. Yeah, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, an honor to have you here. And today, we also have our co-host, Damian. Damian, how are you?
Well, thank you. It's very special event. You know that I love the dashboard, the AWS dashboard.
Yeah.
So it's I'm very excited about having Yuri here. So I guess it's a new year, 2025. I guess Yuri, you can tell us a little bit what is going on with the dashboards. Are you going to see anything that you can share with us about what
Y-
is going to happen this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can definitely start from that. And first of all, I would like to make a quick summary of what we actually delivered in 2024 in, cloud intelligence dashboards. And it was like quite an intense year. We had quite a lot of we released quite a lot of updates to existing dashboards such as Kudos. We released the whole five new significant version improvements, added a lot of new insights and visibility for FinOps community, such as tracking of extended support, more insights for IEML workloads, such as we added, comprehensive visibility for Bedrock, for Amazon Q, the quite a hot services at the moment, and also some significant improvements for DynamoDB visualization, for management and governance services. And we also released 10 new dashboards, which cover different areas from containers cost allocations to something more general like focus, and also dashboards which go beyond FinOps, health events, support cases. So, because the concept of getting data and applying BI to a data, it's pretty much generic. It can be used for any domain. So we really expanding now to more domains. Such we're going into operations. We also plan to go more deeply in security to cover things like Security Hub, for example. Yeah, and we also published four customization guides, because one of the interesting th things about our solution that it's fully customizable and it's fully open source. So every single part, it's available for everyone to review how it's built, from deployment automation to the calculations on the dashboards, how we calculate anything, how we come up with all this visualization. So we also publishing customization guides, because customers can see how it's built, but they can also build on top. So that's very important, because we use these dashboards not only as a solution for customers, but also as a like a place where they can learn how they can build similar stuff. So we want to like accelerate their FinOps journey, their start into the data.
Sounds sounds like we had a very intense year. Actually, it was every time that I saw the post on LinkedIn, it was wow, more dashboard and more dashboard. And
Yeah, I posted an article before end of year with our year-end review. So if anyone is interested, you can read. But I hope 2025 will be even more intense and more exciting and interesting. We are working on quite significant initiatives as well. So roadmap is pretty full. But if anyone has some ideas, feedback of what they would like to see new in cloud intelligence dashboards in 2025, drop me a line. Would be super happy to hear that, to discuss with anyone.
excellent.
Okay.
Great
That's
invitation.
awesome.
So everybody's open to share with you. So come on, guys. And but this also, I always wanted to know how all this started and how you got into this. You're now leading all this dashboard initiative, which I love, as I mentioned before. So it's very interesting for us to know how it all began.
Yeah, that's a great question. Not often I'm asked about that, so super happy to talk about this. And I want to start, with recognition of the team, because all these deliveries that we've done in 2024 and before it, all the hard work of the team and all the contributors, all the authors of the dashboards, and who actually very, very customer obsessed Amazonians who want to bring basically the knowledge which we have as SMEs to every single customer as a self-service tool. It all started with I think in 2020, in around at the end of the 2020. It started as basically several ideas between few technical account managers like me and back then my colleague Timur, and we also partnered with Eli Whitman back then. So we started to build and experiment with the visualizations and the dashboards and QuickSight, and we realized that it's actually possible not only build insightful stuff, but also to use QuickSight to share the templates with every single customer. And when we started to show our visualizations to our colleagues, to customers, the first question was, "Oh, it looks great, but how can I get it? How can I use it with my customers?" So that's where we realized that we need to shape it in some, form of product. And we released two first dashboards. It's cost intelligence dashboard, which was focused more on like high level insights, and then following with Kudos dashboard, which was taking this high level insights and also enriching with a lot of operational details. So that's where we went into, a lot of resource level visibility, which resources you can optimize, not just seeing the trends, but also like getting into resource IDs and all the details. And this is very, very well resonated with internal communities, because our dashboards also used internally, and we've got overwhelming amount of feedback, which actually is we use until today. So one of the key parts of our solution is that we take a lot of field feedback and we iterate, we release new versions, we try to elaborate all the new ideas which appear. So basically we started to incrementally add new features, new ideas. Then we started to receive feedback from service teams, something like uh, visuals which show you inventory of your ODCRs, or some visuals which appear like for backup and storage. They come from different service teams, from solution architects who work deeply with service teams. So it's so many knowledge there, and which we actually were able to bring to any customer as a self-service tool, so they can deploy in their accounts. Yeah, and since then we had a lot of work with many customers, also getting their feedback. And by the way, I just want to thank to every customer who, sharing the feedback about how they use our dashboards, how they, what we could improve, what is missing, because we are always open to hear this feedback. It's literally gold for us. And yeah, so it's like after, I think, 4.5 years of, uh, like i- incremental improvements of this, we are where we are. And one of the key ideas that we have is that we like what we want to actually achieve with these dashboards is to give customers a very quick start into connecting them into insights which they can get from the data. So because every customer can enable cost and usage report, every customer can get this data, but digging into raw data is very challenging, believe me. Like I as a person who like build a lot of this, so it's quite hard. So what we want is to just simplify a start for customers to get in, to get them this tooling where they don't need to pay, any license fees or things like that. Just quickly get up to speed, deploy these templates, and pay only for underlying services which they used, and then see what they can build on top, because we have a lot of examples like from BMW, where we published a joint case study where they took our dashboards, but they completely built like absolutely mind-blowing FinOps home-baked tool on top of this. So I'm super inspired from this kind of stories as well. So yeah, and then just want to say thanks again to our entire team, who helps us to drive this forward over these years. Yeah, and as you can see, now ideas exploding with the new dashboards. Like the last one which we released is for Amazon Connect, very specific dashboard for customers who run these call centers and use Connect, and like it's apparently to for single service you can come up with like 4 or 5 tabs of visuals with insightful visualizations which can help customers to understand what actually we're paying for, what we can do with this all.
These are very good points because I also I use Kudos and the cost cloud intelligent dashboards also for, like you say, you can ramp it up, install it very easily, ramp it up, have an environment set, and then you can copy it as an analysis and do changes because it provides you all the information very well, architecture and very well, which and I think it's very excellent. And for those who are listening, also they can look at all the dashboards online in the workshop, right? Maybe we can share afterwards the link, and they can play and see what the information and all the dashboards and all the information they have,
Yeah.
which is very good. And wow, very excited to know all this information, right, Victor?
Yeah, yeah, and it's what I was thinking while you were saying about all the news and all the goals of the dashboards is like we are seeing a lot of the trend of moving the insights from the like cloud data information to the business value, and
Mm-hmm.
here the main thing is translating that information to KPIs and to OKRs and all this stuff. So how do you think this, even the dashboards or in general the information that you can provide on this visualization tool should connect to the KPIs, and which, if you have some, like what are the KPIs or what are you seeing from the customers, that which KPIs are they providing them the most
Mm-hmm.
value? I assume it's mostly depending on the case because each business has its own KPIs, but I assume there are some generalities there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also a very good question because it's, FinOps, it's not only optimization, it's also
Yeah.
being able to understand what business value you get out of your investment to the cloud. So um, I usually, when I think about KPIs, I usually split them into three categories.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go from bottom to top. First is like cost efficiency KPIs. It's basically KPIs which build around how well you are leveraging one or another cost efficiency or cost effectiveness opportunity. For example, um, uh, like how what portion of what percentage of our EBS volumes is running on GP2 out of all general purpose volumes or out of all volumes, or what is our savings plans coverage, or what is our percent of EBS snapshots which are older than 1 year, or what is our percentage of S3 storage which is standard storage over entire S3 storage. So basically very, very low level, very technical KPIs based on pretty much every optimization opportunity, or percentage of right sizing savings opportunities out of your total spend again. So like basically those KPIs are quite powerful for technical teams, because if they look at them, they basically tell what you can do to improve. If it's like GP3 adoption, you kind of they guide you. Okay, you need to use more GP3. It's like or I don't know if it's adoption of Graviton. They kind of again self-explanatory. You need to adopt Graviton. So it's a power of those cost effectiveness KPIs, because when organization starts to promote them, it becomes it builds habits within the technical teams. So if we have like 10, 20, 30 KPIs like that, and we follow them, we can it's basically a signal for engineers what we are tracking for. And here what is important for companies to note that every time when you get some success story, someone improved something, optimized something, every success story could be turned into KPI. If we figured out some new optimization opportunities, like for example, I don't know, we have multiple cloud trails which duplicated and things like that. So why do we need it? We optimize them. It could be defined as your KPI. Like you should not have duplicating trails, because every second one and every not first one is paid and stuff like that. So always when you optimize something, think about turning it into cost efficiency KPIs. But obviously it would be a lot of them, because they are very, very low level. When you start thinking about business impact of your optimizations, you need to kind of have a bit less KPIs, but more kind of connecting dots and connecting this to business. And that's where I come with a second layer, which I call usually infrastructure unit cost. So it's when you start measuring the average cost per, for example, gigabyte of data for storage, or average cost of normalized instance hour. And that's a higher level measure, which can help you to assess, okay, so what's our cost of infrastructure over time? Yeah, and when we optimize something on this lower level KPIs, we should see reflection into infrastructure unit cost, right? And vice versa. If we see that infrastructure unit cost increasing, then it gives us a signal of how that we need to dive deeper into this cost efficiency KPIs and understand why our infrastructure unit cost increased. Yeah, and the beauty of infrastructure unit cost that you can build those metrics or KPIs just out of cost and usage data. You don't need any third kind of your custom metrics or something like that. So you can pretty much build it by dividing cost by usage, right? So it's very easy. And we have this kind of things in cloud intelligence dashboards. We allow you to see infrastructure unit cost in many, many dashboards. And the third layer, it's where you actually can measure the impact on the business. It's business unit cost, right? So it's where you go into this so-called unit cost economy, where you start tracking the cost per your business drivers, such as cost per customer, cost per transaction. So that's where you actually connect all your infrastructure to the business. and those metrics are usually very well understood by executives, by financial people. Because if we tell someone we, I don't know, optimized S3 storage by 20,000 per month, what will it tell to, like business people who think about revenue, who think about margins? It's like it was it budgeted? Was it like forecasted? Was it planned? Like what does it mean to our business, but if you tell that, oh, we managed to reduce cost per customer by, by 10%. Oh wow, that's completely different story for executives. Yeah, so that's the layers of KPIs, but to build business unit cost KPIs, you need to be able to join your business data and your
Yeah.
infrastructure data, and that's where it comes very handy to use, because you cannot bring your business data to default AWS Cloud Financial Management Services. So that's where it's very handy comes things like QuickSight, where you can take the existing QuickSight dashboards and join it, like bring your own data there, because like QuickSight supports a lot of data integrations, and actually add your business metrics to existing dashboards. So it's very, very powerful. Actually, at reInvent, we had a workshop this year where we covered this. So basically, how to measure impact of your business impact of your optimizations, and where we like step by step everyone built during the workshop this business unit cost dashboard by joining together cost and business data.
Oh, that's super cool. I think the classification was great. I mean, I think it's super valuable to have this clarified and separated, and also, yeah, like you can do these amazing connections with the tools that the providers have. In this case, AWS. Like you can mix a lot of things, and I know Damian knows a lot about QuickSight and all the combinations that you can actually do there. So moving on a bit on like these deep dives and these connections, I want to know a bit, like now we have addressed the business part, and now I want to move a bit on the engineering part. So we have these the dashboards, but these dashboards could or could not be managed by engineers. So let's say that these dashboards are managed by a central FinOps team. How do you think that team or the company in general should translate this information to the engineers? At what kind of cultures or what kind of behaviors should be implemented to help the engineers actually make the optimizations there?
Yeah, it's like $1 million question basically.
Yeah.
So
That's why I
uh,
ask it.
yes. So um, every organization approach it in a different way. I would say first question should be, why would engineers ever go to this dashboard? Engineers have their like operational metrics dashboards. They have their performance dashboards. They have some latency, some maybe availability dashboards, and so many things they usually care about. And then we bring into picture cost. Like I would say, we need to answer a question: why would engineers prioritize this over everything else they have? And that's where cultural aspect comes into play. So it should be very clear for engineers that it's priority. Yeah. So because if organization recognize something else, like business growth, I don't know, maybe availability, if it was a
Yeah.
problem of customer
Or,
sentiment or something like that.
Mhm.
If organization embrace or recognize those things, and cost is never in highlights and recognition, that will build a pattern where engineers will focus on other things. They like they wouldn't have intent, but if they will see that you actually recognize cost awareness, you recognize this frugal mindset, a frugal approach to architecting things, that, and actually like the frugal architect principles by Werner Vogels. It's like they're just amazing. So if you start as organization more highlight these kind of stories, these things recognize people, it first of all it will give them a hint. Oh, like we need to do more of this. So once they have some motivation, to go to this dashboard, then that's place where you actually need to find some champions. Yeah, so like you need to find the champions within the different engineering teams and have like like a squad of FinOps ambassadors, FinOps champions, frugality gurus, frugality masters, like whatever you call them. But you need to build a network of very technical people who work and understand all the depths, not just of AWS pricing structure and stuff like that, but also like how applications build, because sometimes to improve to optimize cost, you actually like need to optimize your code, so like you need to build this network of this technical people who can speak with who understand every breadth and depth of their applications, and then leverage this technical people through actually championing your what you want to achieve, like actually like sharing the knowledge how they use these dashboards, have some enablement sessions, but again relying more on sharing the knowledge through champions and trying to embrace this culture within every team. But if you just run some training for entire organization, would it work? Well, in most cases, maybe not. But if you try to have some kind of a bundle, try to organize something like a bundle, a series of trainings, then some champions who highlight some best practices within the teams, who can explain new engineers that, hey, here are the places where you need to come and have a look. Here are the most common patterns which we need to have a look for our team, because some teams might run on, like something like more focused on things like, I don't know, Kafka, some messaging streaming. Some teams are more storage oriented. For them, it would be more important to keep an eye on DynamoDB databases and things like this. So every team is unique. What I learned is there is no kind of one size fits all. So here it's more like having organizational alignment and cultural shift. Make sure that it's clear for everyone that it's priority. Having a network of your champions, and the like collection of success stories. Enablement, like some videos, some like I don't know, office hours, like FinOps office hours that people can come and ask some questions, and things like newsletters. So a lot of like whatever imagination will drive you, but um, uh, and in all of this you need to highlight what has been done, how it was discovered, which tools were used, and basically how you came to that sequence. And after that, you can start looking in also in things like automation. I mean, maybe in parallel with this, or not necessarily after, but think also about automating something of what has been done. Maybe also preventing some stuff to happen. Maybe setting up some organizational SCPs, tag policies, and stuff like that. Yeah. And the last part here, what is very important, is also, I think it everything most likely wouldn't work if there is no accountability from the engineering teams. So they should be really accountable for the cost effectiveness, cost efficiency of the applications. They should own the cost. Like I really like comparison with DevOps, where we call DevOps. You build it, you run it. Yeah. So with FinOps, you build it, you run it, but you're also responsible for effectiveness, yeah, or for the costs of this. So it adds more responsibilities and accountabilities, but at the same time, without this, it would be hard to drive the change. Yeah. So you really need to push this to the people who drive the change, who actually can trigger the cost impact. Yeah, who actually uh, every day deploy workloads, make decisions which actually influence the cost.
No, I totally agree that, especially the comparison with DevOps and security, like you have your ownership of your security failures, even though you could have like a central security team that helps you prevent you making these mistakes, like for example in this case the FinOps team. Then you are responsible for the security of your tool, so you can like dive deep and see like if if you are making cost enablement of the
Yeah.
architecture is efficient on cost level or not. Same with DevOps, like as you mentioned, you own the time that you take to deploy something or how much it fails or how much it is available. So you should own the cost part. And once we focus more on the ownership, which I think we are moving on since the costs are being higher. So now it's a problem that before it wasn't. I think we will get more results and more FinOps like advanced practices. And we are seeing that in businesses that are more cost, let's say, aware, such as, for example, airlines, which play on a very low margin roles that they still, for example, the Ryanair case, which they play a lot with the spot instances to be like on the thin margins they have. I assume supermarkets, all the food industry will see, apart from banking, of course, but this is all for a general perspective. But
Yeah.
banking it's also there. The margins are not that high, so you need to play on the thin line, and you have to
Yeah.
be aware of costs.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like your comparison of FinOps and security. I also like I I think there are a lot of parallels what we can learn from security domain in FinOps as well, especially also introducing things like FinOps reviews. Uh, we're very familiar with the concept of, AppSec reviews, AppSec approvals before going
Hmm.
into production. Like here we can reuse something like that. So have something like FinOps reviews, making sure that there is someone who familiar with like this best practices of cost-aware architectures within your organization actually uh, will have a look on your architecture before you start deploying it, before you start actually relying on it heavily in your organization. So it's also one of the ways how you can embrace cost-aware culture.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
Damian?
and yeah, no, it's. I also like to compare between because people often feel the same also about security, about FinOps. It's like people developers like leave me alone, let me do my work. But no, you need to take care also for security and then take care also about the cost because eventually, well, we know what happens if you don't. Um, and the word focus comes a lot of offense, and we see that now also from cost intelligent dashboards, we have not only the dashboard for AWS, but also we have for Azure and for GCP. And actually, you can make a joint, right,
Yep.
dashboard in which you show all this data.
Yep.
So this is very good. And what I was wondering was like, when can we expect to see, or what are your thoughts about having a kudos dashboard based on focus information?
Well, it's a good question. So we started, as you said, with separate dashboards for other cloud providers because there was a ask from customers. They wanted to have to use one BI tool, to see the data in one single place. And we also learned that, building as an insightful and as detailed dashboards for multiple uh, cloud providers which have their own structures of billing data, it's quite tough and quite challenging. So that's why when Focus project appeared, I was super excited and was, joining the early Focus calls, and I was very excited about that project because it actually simplifies a lot for FinOps community. So when you have normalized data across multiple cloud providers, then we as AWS, let's say, officially joined the FinOps Foundation. We joined Focus project as well, and after that, we contributed to the Focus project as maintainers and as contributors, and we also have we support Focus. We deliver data in Focus format. Um, Together with the data, what we couldn't we couldn't not to deliver a dashboard, to help people not just get the data but also visualize it and get sense out of the data. So and the next and the next step which we took is we now updated our GCP and Azure solutions to allow actually practitioners and customers to bring data from other cloud providers in focus format to AWS and join them in single focus dashboard. Because one of the challenges with reporting is not only normalizing the data, but also all the ETLs, getting data in one place. It's as challenging as normalization. So what we want to simplify it a bit. So we now provide solutions how to get all the data in one place, how to plug it in to focus dashboard. Now, as for amount of insights and details which you can get. So at the moment, now we support Focus 1.0 in GA. Now specification itself is evolving. 1.1 version was announced, and I see a lot of improvements, and there is a quite exciting roadmap in Focus project as well. So with maturity of specification, we will be able to deliver more insights, more details, more reporting, more kind of actionable things which customers can use. So the way I see it is with maturity, increase of maturity of focus, with all the feedback and all the new things which appear in focus, it would allow us to build something very, very close to what we've built on top of cost and usage report. But obviously, it took us, to like 4.5 years to build Kudos. So I'm not saying that it will take us 4.5 years to build something like that based on Focus, but at the same time, it's also quite an effort, because behind every single visual there is a story, there is details, how like what you can do with this, because we try to also to have this kind of so what question to pass so what question for every visual which we build, like what you can do when you see it, like is it actionable at all. So yeah, we as I see it, I think the focus dashboard will be evolving. We will be adding more features to it, but I see it more like a parallel growth of focus specification and then appearing in new features and capabilities on our dashboard, and overall like capabilities of anyone who use focus, regardless of the tool, like either querying raw data or any BI tool as well. So it's quite interesting journey, and I hear a lot of positive feedback from customers about focus. For now, I usually see at the moment focus dashboard. It's more like high level dashboards which you can use to get uh, more like general understanding of your total, cost of cost of ownership around multiple cloud providers. But then if you want to learn about like depth and breadth of optimizations, what you can improve, what's the actionable insights, you still need to go, for example, to Kudos for AWS. But yeah, we will be there in some time.
I wonder how it will look in the next few years
Yeah, let's see.
when Focus will be evolved and new graph are going to be out there. Wow. I'm I'm a big fan, and I'm looking forward to see what's going. Also from graph perspective, it's the quick side will be also evolved. This is something that
Yeah, actually, QuickSight evolving like comparing QuickSight at the moment with where it was like 4.5 years ago when we started. It's like it's way more feature set product, let's say, and there is much way more capabilities now, from both like API perspective, what you can automate on top of this, what you can use for embedding, what you can use for and also up to visual capabilities and features. So now, before reInvent, QuickSight launched this high charts, a type of visual. So it kind of brings the full variety of completely new type of visualizations, where you can use this high charts kind of uh, visual definition within the quick side and have absolutely mind-blowing, like very rich visualizations which were not available in QuickSight before. We started to do something like that in support cases dashboard, which we released recently before reInvent. We will invest more in this like facelifting of the visuals based on this new capability in our existing dashboards as well. So we are very excited about it. And another quite significant feature which was added by QuickSight team is ability to copy visuals between the dashboards. And why it's important, because when you deploy your dashboard and then you want to customize it, like a lot of customers love this capability to, reshuffle widgets, maybe add something which they like. But the challenge was that when you customize your dashboard, and we update the new version of our provided by us dashboard template, and you update your default dashboard, but there was no way to bring these new features which we bring in the default dashboard to your customized one. So it was a challenge for customers how then we can get this new great widgets to our customized dashboard. And
Right.
now QuickSight supports the copy, so you literally can go and copy whatever you like from the new version to your custom dashboard, place them in the place where you see it maybe better than we, and without any significant effort. So like there is a very nice and interesting roadmap in QuickSight for 2025. A lot of GenAI capabilities added to QuickSight, ability to integrate with Amazon Q and all the things. So it's a lot of interesting features ahead, and I think it will help us also to to shape the way customers approach the data. Because now with all this GenAI capabilities, I think there will be more movement into like not getting the visualizations answering your questions, but trying to get basically your questions answered by LLMs with having access to your data. So overall, I think it will be quite a shift in that direction.
No, that's great. I mean, I think I also agree that that would be probably what it's evolving now, like being able to process the info to ingest it to the Gen AI, and the Gen AI being able to provide like additional information and solving questions that you may have already in place. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I think in 2025, the amount of things that we are going, the amount of things that we are going to see, and the integrations we are going to see within the AI. Like now that is more stabilized, and we see that is more stable now, what we are going to be able to do with that.
Yeah. But for FinOps community also Gen AI brings quite interesting challenges, not just how to use it for FinOps, but also how to track the cost of Gen AI services, how to optimize them, because there is a lot of interesting new concepts appear which were not very, how to say, very common if you look at traditional applications where you have like
Yeah.
compute storage, some databases. Here it's a slightly different shift of paradigm.
Yeah, especially with the tokenization and all
Exactly.
the generation that you are not sure like how to control it, because it's something that is generative. It's very different
Yeah.
from what we are used to.
Yeah. Should we ask
So
shorter questions, and
yeah, it prompts like something like that.
be concise,
And because says and it always extends more and more, and it doesn't say anything after all.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I think it's a great point to close up. I think everyone knows where we can find it. We will put the links to your LinkedIn and to the dashboards, GitHub, and all the information that is available there. So it's been a pleasure. I think there is a lot of valuable information that you have dropped today, and looking forward to your team developments in 2025. And yeah, we'll be ready to your post to know every new update in Kudos.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always pleasure. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again to all our customers and all our team. It's just, being part of this is just absolutely amazing journey. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Yuri. It was a pleasure and very enrichful. And I hope that in the future we host you again and hear more news.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks everyone, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.